Hey, this is Stacia. We're going to continue looking at this game that I played against Patrick Robinson. So we'll just quickly go through what happened so far, which it was a panic attack. And I had a panic attack after I played this computer move I studied. But even though I had a lot of pressure here, it didn't really work out for me, because he had this move, bishop a4, which I missed because it's attacking my queen. I saw that I was attacking his queen. I thought I won material, but after he took that piece, I can't take his queen. So I had to, well, I took his queen anyway, but I lose my queen. And after rook c2, I think I went through some of these moves in the last video as well. And we got to a position, I believe, like this. Yeah. Okay, so we'll just kind of look at this rook ending for a little bit, because I do need to look at rook endings. And if you don't ever look at them, please know that rook endings are extremely complicated. And I calculated like crazy during the game, but I think, the more familiarity and the more patterns you have in your head, the better you will be at them. So let's study and see what we can learn. He's about to take my g2 pawn. That is clear. So I think I should just take on f7, no questions asked, as long as I'm not getting mated. And I'm not. But maybe I am. Now, I only see two different moves for the white king. I see king f4 and king h4. Now, one of those moves loses the game. So if you want to see if you can figure out which one, go ahead and do so now. Okay, well, probably intuitively, you know that you can't just put your king on the edge of the board. But I did calculate this out. And I thought, if I go here, there's check. I go here. He goes here. Did I show this in the last video? I feel like I did. Check. Here and mate. Okay. I think I did. So in the actual game, though, I played king f4. He checked me, and I went king f5. So, okay. Now, I have to be a little bit careful, because if I know it's not my turn, but if it was, and I take on f6, I think I lose the game to rook f4 check, right? Because my king would have to move out of the way, and then he'll take that rook. That rook's attacked by the king too, so when I take back, they take. I don't know. It's not good. I lose material and the game. So I have to be careful about taking that pawn. I can't step up this way either. So I thought he would go rook g5 check. He didn't play this in the game, but I was worried about it. And I thought, okay, maybe I take the pawn here. But I don't think so. I thought this move. Oh, wait a minute. I could take their rook here. Because when I took that pawn, I undermined the rook. I missed that. I just kept thinking that was protected. So yeah, after this move, that rook's attacked. So on this, we do this. Now this is different. I didn't assess this during the game, but I'm not sure. The computer says it's winning if I play one correct move here. Ooh, this is actually instructive. If you want to pause your video and find the one move that wins for white, go ahead and do so now. It's the opposition. Actually, no, I'm just kidding. That does nothing. What you want to do is stop black's pawn majority. Okay, because he's going to play that move. Okay, and then, that threatens b4. So on that, we would have to take, but then he takes. And then you know, black makes the queen. I'm pretty sure he can checkmate me. So we have to stop that with the move a5. That freezes the pawns. Now if this, we have en passant. Okay, I'm going to queen first. So good luck with that. Yeah, that's pretty instructive. Okay, I didn't even see that ending. I didn't even see I could take the rook. So anyway, okay, in the actual game, yeah, instead of this check, which I was actually planning this move, he played here. Okay, so he's forking my 2 pawns, but I didn't think this is so great because I can take on a7, right? Like I can take on a7, which I did. Now the engine is saying we can go king e6 here. Okay, in this position, I definitely can't take, I don't think, because, yeah, that loses for the reason I said before. But king e6, the engine likes. What's going on here? I saw this move during the game. I thought he'd go here. Wait a minute. He can't do that. I'm blind. There's a pawn there. I feel like one of my students, one of my kindergarten students. Sorry, no offense to any kindergartners watching. You're probably, if you're watching this video, you're better than the ones in my class. Okay, anyway, I took, he checked, I went here. Okay, I like this move because it's kind of funny. It's like, hey, I'm going to checkmate you. Like, what are you going to do about that? Maybe you shouldn't let me checkmate you. So he has to play Rook G3 check. But now you see my plan. Now I take the pawn. So, okay, we both have 2 pawns. Looks pretty equal. He checked me. I came out. Now, I thought this is the best way to play. I'm like, you know, I can't be going here and losing my rook. So I'm going to have to come out here. Okay, so he played that move. That move looks a little weird to me, but I do kind of understand that he's connecting his rooks up. My king is on the other side of that. I started getting worried about rook roller ideas. You know, like what if black could just rook roll me from here? But I don't think he totally can. Because the rooks will have issues. Like this rook can't go here, for example. This rook can't go here, for example. But also because I could block this rook with this rook. So it should be fine. So I went here. King h8. Yeah, so once again, I was being cheeky. Like, hey, I'm going to checkmate you. He was like, no talking. So he went king h8. He wants to meet rook d8 check with rook hg. With rook g8. Must be getting tired. That's okay. Yeah, and I kind of thought there I could maybe go rook back, and then I'm threatening mate on h7. But then he has rook h6, which also attacks my pawn. So I actually didn't go for that. Instead, I took a pawn. Because, you know, taking pawns can't be that bad. My famous last words. Okay, but I'm up a pawn now. So he traded rooks and played rook d3. He said, I'm going to take your pawn. So, okay, that's fine, but maybe I can win your pawn on a6. Then I've got a pawn and you don't. And, well, I saw all of this when I traded rooks, actually. And I thought, you know, this is the best I can do. I'll have an extra pawn. It's a rook pawn, though. I'll have winning chances possibly, but probably not. So I can press. Maybe he'll have a chance to mess up and I can take a win. If not, it'll be a draw, you know, and that's that. So I went into this, attacked the pawn, went here, king g7. And yeah, this is really interesting to me, what happens here. So buckle your seatbelt. Okay. It's Black's turn. He checked me. Now, let's pretend we have a lot of time on the clock. How do we play this? Like, how do we play this for a win? What are we trying to do? Well, we want to push our pawn. That's number one, right? We want to make a queen. That means that the rook shouldn't be in the way of it. But the rook is protecting it. It also probably means that we want to keep this king away if we can. So if we can block that king out, we should do that. And the third thing is that my king is going to try to escort the pawn. This black rook is going to get mad and start checking me. Can I escape those checks or not? Now I know that sometimes you leave the pawn on a6 because you get checked and stuff. And if the pawn was on a7, your king can't move. That can be bad. But if the pawn's on a6, your king can move. So that was a thought. But let's see. I went king c4. He went behind my pawn, which makes sense to me. I should probably protect the pawn. So I went king b4. And he went rook a1. Here's where I think I went wrong. And this is from not studying rook endings. So, which makes me happy because I love to study chess. I don't like when I blunder. But, like, especially blunder something I know already. That's terrible. But if there's something I don't understand in chess, that means I have the opportunity to become a stronger player. Now, if I'm going to reach a higher rating, I need to become a stronger player. So, you know, even looking at this now, I already think I want to cut off the black king. Now, during the game, I decided to try and do that with my king. This is the wrong approach. White is winning if they find the right move here. If you want to pause your video and find the right move, go ahead and do so now. Well, I pretty much gave you all the hints, so I hope you got it. Rook e6. Let's cut off the king. Why didn't I go rook f6? Well, because they'll take us. So this move is good, though, because now if he takes a rook, you know, we go here. That's a wall. That king's not coming over. Now, I still don't fully understand why this is a win. But let's look at it and see, I guess. I guess I'll play black and see what the computer does as white. Okay, if I was black, I guess I would just check a lot. That's what I'm thinking. So check. It says king c4. Okay. I'll take your pawn. It says king b4. Okay, great. Check you again. It says king c4. It should realize it can draw by repetition. Okay, so king b5. Okay, that's a little different. I'll check you. King a6. Okay, going there so that they can push the pawn. Okay, so what do I do? I can check from the side, maybe rook d1. Okay, computer wants king b6 now. Interesting. Oh, now if I check, they come out. Wow. Right? Yeah, king c5. It's kind of mean. I guess I want to be behind the pawn, not in front of it, because then the white king will kick me out. So, okay, I'll check. King a6. I'll repeat. King b5. I'll play here. King c5. Play here. Now it wants to guard with the rook. Wow. I think I see what the computer's up to. I think maybe now when I start checking the king, you know, maybe they'll move here or something and then block with the rook. So, okay, let's just check the king, I guess. I don't know what else to do. King b6. Let's check the king. King a6. Let's go here and try to check the king. They push. Let's go here. King b7. I don't think my moves are the best. I just want to see how white wins. Okay, I'm going to try to... yeah, I don't know what to do. This is actually looking bad all of a sudden. Alright, I'll check. They come out. If I try to get behind the pawn, they attack me. Okay, let's go back here. They push. Yeah, okay, I can see how this is winning. Unfortunately for me, yeah, the winning move here was rook to e6. I played this move. King c5 goes from a win to a draw. And I think it's because now the black king is able to come up. So he's going to go there. Now, can I still block it off? I guess I could, but it must not be good enough. Oh, guess what? I understand now what I did wrong. Here, rook e6 is good because my king's protecting the pawn. I actually undefended the pawn. That means my rook is babysitting. So when they brought their king up, I can't play this anymore or they take the pawn. Wow. So that is why. So that means I can't block the king out. Yeah. And this is the actual game. I tried like crazy to win. I really did. Didn't have much time on my clock, but I was like, hey, if he messes up, I'm going to win. If he doesn't mess up, it'll probably be a draw. Yeah, we got this position, which was confusing to me. But I think it is just a draw, and the engine says it is. So yeah, unfortunately, I got a draw, but I actually think it's a fair result because this game, I thought my opponent found some really nice moves when I was applying pressure. And I also think that he played the rook ending at least as good as me, probably better. So a draw is a pretty fair result here. So that is that. I'm not that happy when I don't win, can you tell? But I am happy that I learned something. So I'll be back with the final game of the Marchand Open, so stay tuned for that. Okay, bye.